That's how I found you. So I saw the reel of you with the girls coming from like, I think it was middle school, high school.
Yeah. Hey, ideators and entrepreneurs, CUNY Startups here. Welcome to CUNY and Beyond, the podcast dedicated to helping aspiring entrepreneurs through storytelling. We're excited to dive into the entrepreneurial endeavors of CUNY students, alum, and bonus entrepreneurs who are willing to share their valuable insights with you. Join us for today's show.
We're here with Mariah today, the owner of Got You Polish, which is a nail salon in Brooklyn, New York, specifically in Bed-Stuy area, 3 floors at that. And she's going to give us a tutorial on a simple nail design.
So today we're going to do one of my absolute favorite styles, which is 3D Frenchies. If you've been my client since I was in my house, you know that most likely every time I'm doing a freestyle, it's 3D Frenchies. So with the 3D Frenchies, you always want to paint your base color, which is most likely going to be like a sheer. I usually always ask my clients if they like more of a nude base or if they like more of a pink base. I usually like more of a pink base. So you want to do 2 layers and cure that at 60 seconds. So one of the reasons why I love 3D Frenchies is because you can kind of mix it up and you can do so many different things. So I'm going to do a little airbrush and a little bit of glitter on top of mine. But I've done this with chrome, I've done this with cat eye, and it just always comes out so classy. But it's something a little bit more than like your average French.
And chrome is what? I know cat eye is one with the magnet, right?
And then chrome is the one that it has like the sponge applicator. And it looks kind of like metallic-y. And I'm going to do a yellow color for my base. Since it's the summer, and I feel like summer in New York is only 3 months, so we can only do such limited summer colors.
Agreed.
So every time you do the French, you want to go in with like an 18 milliliter brush. And I like my French to be a little bit deeper. So I always start, especially when I'm doing an almond shape, at the top, and I drag it down. French was actually something I did not offer for like a year when I was a nail tech because I was so scared to mess them up. But eventually, I actually got really good, and I feel like that's what I'm like known for now is my French.
How are you so steady?
Honestly, I don't know because my hand is actually really shaky. I had a client come in the other day and she's like, I don't know how you're so shaky, but yet your French is so perfect. But I feel like just with repetition, like it kind of just comes natural. Like I think I've done like, I don't even know how many sets of French since starting. I always like to flip my client's hand too, like this, upside downwards, kind of like this, so I could just make sure it's even on all sides. And to make the process go a little faster, so I don't have to keep using my liner brush, I open back up my polish brush after I create like the line, and then I just fill it in because it just makes it a bit easier and faster. And to me, in this industry, time is money. So you're always looking to cut back your time for sure.
And when you first started doing nail design, did you practice on instruments like this, or did you like use people?
I did not use people because it was during COVID, so I was still like quarantined. So a lot of my practice just was either on myself or just things like this, kind of like these little press-on stands that you can get on Amazon. But I feel like this press-on stand is like the best thing to use.
Okay.
And yourself, because if you could do your nails, you can do anyone's nails, especially your non-dominant hands.
And did you always practice with gel, or did you actually practice with regular nail polish too?
No, only gel. I assumed that, like, honestly, I think I started in 2020, so I feel like everybody was already getting gel, and I kind of just felt like it'd be a waste of my time, especially in my house, because I didn't have the fans. I only had a UV lamp, and that was way quicker.
Yeah.
So next we're gonna go in with our airbrush, which is my favorite thing in the world, and some airbrush paint. I always recommend starting out with a lighter color first. So I'm gonna do this little pink. I only need a few drops, especially since we're only doing one nail. But you can always add more. So that's one thing I always teach my techs here at the salon too, is less is more. Because you don't want to waste product. So I'd rather go back in with more product than to pour too much and then dump it out and waste it.
That makes sense.
Product is money. So we're going to do this little side. So if you see, it has a little airbrush now. We're going to cure this really fast. Dump out any little excess and clean our airbrush for our next color. Next, we're going to go in with a little bit of blue. And then we're just going to pick another little random spot to just kind of airbrush this blue. So it's kind of starting to look a little tie-dye. And then what I think I'm going to do is mix the blue and the pink together. It should come out a little purpley, so we have 4 different colors in there. And if you mess up, you always want to have a flat cleanup brush like this that you can dip in some acetone to clean up the edges so that this way you don't get it on the base of the French.
It's like a painting palette over there.
Yeah. Some people also use like foil.
Oh.
Because it's just easy to toss out and one less thing to clean.
And how would you clean that? Just with acetone itself?
Yep. Okay. Acetone. A lot of people make these with like resin. You can get them customized. Ours have like our logo on it, which is super cool. Yep. So it's starting, it kind of reminds me of like a Skittle.
It does.
Because it's so many different colors, but I love it already. I also wanted to make it super extra, so I brought a little bit of glitter polish that I'm gonna put on top of the whole entire French part. So for the 3D waves, we always use a rhinestone glue, and you wanna take a little glob and put it on the tip of your liner brush. And you start it at the corner of the French, and you want to press it down. And then you just want to drag it down. And you always want to have a flash cure light, so you can just flash cure in between before going on to the next wave. So it's basically just to hold the spot so it doesn't move around.
Okay.
And then you want to go in with the full 60-second cure after, to fully cure it. So my goal is to usually put 2 lines on each side of the French. And again, you want to hold it there for a second and then drag it down. And this is going to be our last one. And as you get closer to the tip of the nail, you can use a smaller bead of the rhinestone glue. Drag it down. And this is how it should kind of look. And then you want to do a full 60-second cure.
And this is just one nail. Imagine someone's coming in for all 10. That's intense.
Yeah, that's kind of the dilemma right now.
Got it.
Because everyone doesn't understand how long this art really takes.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of our glitter color, because again, I'm super extra, and it's still not enough. And we just want to go over We're going over just the French part. We do not want to get it on our face. And we're also going over our 3D lines with this too. Okay. So now it's a little shiny. It's kind of giving like unicorn, but I love it. It's so extra. And then you want to cure that for 60 seconds before we do our final step, which is putting our top coat, which kind of just seals in everything. And another pro tip is clean as you go, because while your client's hands are in that lamp, you just want to clean, especially if you're booked and busy, because then you're going to be done with your client, your next client's there, and your desk is a mess. And because you don't want the top coat to take away from your 3D lines, you want to make sure that when you're top coating, you're pulling your top coat down and you're doing a thin layer. But you want to make sure that everywhere in between the lines is top coated so nothing is tacky. We put this back on our stand, and we're going to dry this 2 times at 60 seconds. You always want to kind of check the gel polish brands that you're using and see what their cure time is. And definitely don't be like me and wear gloves, because you don't want to get contact dermatitis. Sometimes, like if you have your nails done and they're super long, they rip and it tends to make it hard. But if you have a tight fitting, good glove that fits you, it doesn't really matter. I feel like if anything, it helps your grip on certain things better, like your brushes, sometimes the client's hand. So the final step is you always want to file a little bit. You don't want to file too much because you do have 3D elements on there, so you're not trying to take them off. But I know in school, if you went for your license, they tell you do not file after polish, that it causes it to chip, but that is a myth. I don't know why they tell people that, but for gel polish, you can definitely file after. And yeah, this is our final product. So cute.
That's cute. Hi everyone, we're on part 2 of CUNY and Beyond, where we're going to sit with Mariah and talk more about how she got started in this nail industry. What did you do before this?
What didn't I do is actually like the real question. So I did go to college. I graduated with a social science degree and a focus in psychology. I changed my major a bunch of times. I was supposed to become a teacher. As far as work, I managed a gym. I worked there for about 5 years. I worked my way up. I started as a daycare sitter there because they had a daycare for members. I went to the front desk, assistant manager, and manager. I worked retail. I worked nightlife, bartending, bottle service, anything you can imagine. I really just hustled. Worked hosting in restaurants, like anything you can imagine, retail.
Wow, so you did everything pretty much except become a doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
So what made you stop kind of like being a jill of all trades and move into this industry?
Honestly, I would say COVID. During COVID, we were all stuck at home being bored. A lot of people during college, because I'm not gonna lie, I said I hated college every time anyone would ask. But everyone would always ask like, okay, well, if you didn't go to college, what would you do?
Yeah.
And I always said like I would do the beauty industry because it's just such a moneymaker, and I'm very into beauty. I've been the girl whose parents took her to the salons to do her hair, nails all the time. A lot of my friends were in the beauty industry, and I just loved it. Like I love getting anything done. I love researching about beauty. So during COVID, I just took an interest in watching a lot of like nail videos. Like I would just sit and watch them just for fun. And then one of my friends who actually owns a barbershop / salon with her husband was like, you should just buy a few things. A few things turned into like $2,000 worth of stuff, and then just took on from there.
Most people started businesses during COVID, like you, and you watch a lot of tutorials. Did you actually take any other courses aside from YouTube?
Yeah, so besides of like getting my license, I also took courses with a lot of people online, because again, we couldn't travel. So I paid for courses online with like techs that I like followed for a really long time in the industry. I took like structure gel courses, gel X courses online. I actually flew to like other states. Once outside started opening again, I flew to like different states to take courses with girls that I looked up to as well. Because unfortunately, like school is just like a stepping stone. Like getting your license is just the bare minimum. If you want to specialize in like designs and gel X and all these new trends, you do have to like kind of pay for courses, because online, you know, there's only so much free information out there.
Right. And how was that experience once you actually got the business up and running? Like your first paying client, how did that feel? What did that look like? How did you recruit them?
first paying client in my house or this?
Well, house, that matters. Yes.
Yeah. I would say in my house, it was kind of in the beginning just a hobby because I told myself like, okay, I just need to get this $2,000 I invested. Like I've always been someone that was like super organized with money. So I had like an Excel spreadsheet of everything that I spent. And then every time I would get a client, I would just like be like, okay, I'm only like $500 more until I need to like pay all this stuff off. But I didn't really see it as a business in my house. Like even for the longest time, like I didn't really see it as a business, but it felt good, like paying down, like, and getting back the money that I spent.
Right. Yeah. So then how did that transfer to actually opening up an actual business? Were you getting a lot more clients? You were like, I need more space?
Yeah. So basically after I got that $2,000 back that I invested, I started actually having people who wanted to come back, and they were coming back, and I was still working like 4 jobs at that time. The gym opened back up, so I had to do that. I was still hosting. And then I think it was 2022, I had left the gym. I was working just nightlife, maybe like 3 times a week, but it was like decent money. I actually got fired, and that same week that I got fired, I blew up on TikTok, and it was just so it was the strangest thing. And I blew up on TikTok, and I started having 100 clients a month.
Wow.
And I had like 0 breaks, and I just felt super blessed. And I'm like, okay, like this is going somewhere. And it was like that for about a year and a half. And not only was I fully booked, I was getting tons of people every single day. Like, are you really fully booked? Are you really fully booked? And this was with me charging squeeze-in appointments to work like overtime. And I was like, I need to open a shop ASAP. Like while I'm kind of hot, like I always feel like you need to jump on things because you're hot one day and then you're not the next day. The next hottest thing comes out. So I started looking for spaces, and I was like, I want to also too kind of like share clients with other girls and other like technicians who like are struggling to get clientele, because I know how hard it is. I think on social media, like people are like, wow, she blew up so fast, but like they don't see the behind the scenes, like how many hours, I was working like nightlife, I was doing all these different things, and I was coming home and I was taking the little bit of clients. I might have had like 4 clients a week, and with those clients I was taking content, posting, editing vlogs, doing all this stuff, and it's like they don't see those overtime hours. And I was like, not everybody also has the opportunity to put in so much work, because everyone's life is kind of different. And I was like, why not be able to like kind of just share that clientele and just train my girls?
That's another thing too. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to wear so many different hats. Like, yes, you've already perfected your craft in terms of actually doing it now. So now you have to like manage money. Although you said you were really good at that anyway, but now you have to do marketing on social media. You have to like train people, and you have to be really personable and be a really great leader. Like, so how did you actually develop those skills?
Just working so many jobs throughout the years, all that helped me, right? Like they were so customer service based, and it's so crazy because I used to think like, oh my God, why is this owner so annoying? Or why is this boss so annoying? But it all started making sense. And although I always like might have been annoyed with my bosses or something, I always do what I was told. Like one thing about me, you can ask any place that I've ever worked, like ask for a reference, and they'll always say like good positive things about me. And I feel like people don't realize like, one, you should always want to give the best customer service. You never know when you're going to see that person again. You never know who's going to be your client later on. And I believe in like good karma and stuff like that. So I feel like all those things, like just always going above and beyond. That's why I got that manager position in my job at the gym, because like, during downtime, I wasn't just on my phone. Like I was cleaning the bathroom. I was saying hi to members. I was trying to get sales. Like, and even if I was on my phone, my boss could never say like, did you do this? Because if he did, it was already done.
Did your work?
Like I did my work, and then I did more. And then I even probably did work for the next person. So all those things are super important. I feel like sometimes like, especially now, like in this newer generation coming up and everybody I understand like wanting to get compensated for everything. But like one of my biggest lessons, I think, was like, if you don't learn the importance of like working for free, you'll never understand the importance of working for $1.
Interesting.
Because now, I'm very in my business. Like if my girls are running behind and their next client comes in, I'm jumping in to help for that client. If the bathroom needs to be cleaned, then everybody's with the client. Guess who has to clean the bathroom? Me. You're never too good to do anything. The other day I had to learn how to unclog the sink because, the sink got clogged, and a plumber's like $300. And I'm like, no, I'm going to figure this out myself. And me and my receptionist, I'm like, okay, go buy this, go get this. And then, we went on YouTube and we just like waited and we declogged the sink, and it saved me like $300, So I was a plumber that day too.
So before getting into the actual spot, right, I'm imagining the most challenging part would be finding a space, doing the decorations, like building it from scratch. But what has been the challenging thing for you for this business itself?
I would say the hardest is employees.
Employees.
Yes, and it's so crazy because when I first got the establishment and I was just building it up and designing it, which obviously took a lot of time, and I'm a perfectionist and I'm very big into art, so like I want everything to look a certain way. I would go to like different businesses around the area and I ask them all like, hey, I'm in a business starting, what would you say is the hardest? Like I'm just trying to make friends and like, you know, like network, and they all told me hiring. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna have that problem because this place is so cool.
I'm personable.
Yeah, and not only that, but like this place is so cool. The aesthetic is so dope. There's so many up and coming nail techs, and you know, like who would want to work here? We play vibey music. We're not your typical salon. We're very cultured. We play anything from Afrobeat, Spanish music, trap music. Like we're very diverse. And I'm like, who wouldn't want to work here, or who wouldn't want to, you know, be a part of this team? And then you realize that not a lot of people like align with your goals and stuff like that.
I get it, because like that's one thing in corporate that I've encountered too, where it's not the job that's hard. It's always working with other people, especially if you have to like do cross-functional things. What do you feel like are things that you would want in an ideal person that works with you?
One is like timely. Like to me, if you're on time, you're late. I tell my staff that all the time. If you have a client at 10 a.m., there's no reason why you should be walking through the door with that client at 10 a.m. You need to be here 15 minutes before your shift. You need to put your things away. You need to prepare. You know, it's like good intentions for the day. So being on time is being late. Time management is everything. Also, I would say in the beauty industry, you do need to be very sanitary. You need to be very organized. Not only is it, you know, does it help you, you know, because clients going to want to book with you if you're more sanitary. It's also, it helps with your timing and your speed. As I mentioned in the tutorial, like if you clean as you go, like you're not late behind with your next client. But, you know, we do have New York standards that we have to remain intact with, or else we can be facing a fine. And, you know, as a business owner, I take on those fines, not the staff. So that is like something that's super important. And then someone that's very like team oriented, because we are a team here. And I always say like, nobody is nobody's client. Like, you know, it's value polished client and we all share clients. And, you know, again, if you're not doing anything and you're not on your designated lunch, you should be helping your teammates out. You should be checking the bathroom, seeing, you know, if the bathroom's clean, because if we don't have a bathroom clean, you never know who's going to walk through the door and see the bathroom's dirty and then they don't want to come back here. You should maybe be offering, you know, we offer complimentary beverages. Go offer complimentary beverages to the next person's client, because you never know when that client is going to need to book with someone else because their main tech is not in, you know, and they're going to remember things like that. Like, wow, well, you know, so-and-so Mariah was really nice because she offered me a beverage that day or something. There's no I in team. So, yeah.
Okay. Back to kind of like the space itself. So I feel like the vibe here is like really like the graffiti art and whatnot. What went into thinking of like decorating decor for the space?
One, my favorite color is like a light blue.
Same.
So like, no, I literally love light blue. That's our logo color, but I didn't want to just do one color because I'm the type of person I get sick of things very fast. So I knew I wanted to do like something super colorful, super New York. I'm big Brooklyn, like I'm from Brooklyn native. So I definitely wanted to incorporate those kind of elements. One of my favorite artists, her name is Sutai. She does like a lot of like girly art, and then like I love rap music. So I have like custom made art of like my favorite rappers downstairs, like Young Dolph, Fab, Little Kim. And I really wanted to bring those like elements into like the salon, because I feel like music too like helped me a lot, like get to where I am. So I kind of just wanted that to kind of be a feel into it.
What is something that you really love about being a business owner?
I love to learn, I feel like, every day. I guess it's not your traditional learning, because I'm not like in a lecture like in college how I was, or in school, and I'm not writing papers and stuff, but I'm constantly just like, you have to figure things out on the fly. So you're just learning yourself, which I think is like an art itself. And then just like figuring things out. And I did grow up hating math, and I never did well in math, but like I'm also really good at math, because like I can tell you like how much, you know, we make from like, you know, nails, like how many sets we need to do and how much commission, and it's just like so many numbers. And I feel like things like that like keep you on your toes and keep you on your feet for like even the outside life. And like I like to think quick, like I do, and I like to work under pressure too. So
it's giving you a challenge.
Yeah, it's giving me a challenge, and I just know that I have like other goals, and although it's like hard, like I know it's going to take me to where like I need to be, kind of.
So you hinted at two things. One, what did you learn about yourself then? Like, what's one thing that you learned about yourself? yourself through this whole experience?
Oh my God, that is actually a little hard.
Or what's one thing that you developed or you got better at?
Well, one thing I really, because I'm a big believer in like faith, I would not be here like if it wasn't for God. So I remember praying to God before I opened, like that first week, like so hard, like God, please make me a morning person. Because in order to be a business owner, you need to be a morning person. Because yeah, you can schedule your staff to open for you, but God forbid somebody calls out, you got to be in there to open. And I just prayed like, God, please, like I need to be able to, not only, because I can wake up early. It's one thing to wake up early, but it's one thing to become a morning person and be able to socialize and work early. Because in my house, yes, people would pay me to squeeze in and wake up earlier, but was I a morning person? Not really. Was I getting fully dressed and putting on a decent outfit and heading out the door by a certain time? No, I worked from home. So I was throwing on anything. I looked absolutely insane coming downstairs to do my clients' nails, And now I'm like here taking 6:30 a.m. Pilates before going to work because that's the time that I have.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So my main goal really with Gayu Polish is I would love to franchise. Like my goal is really to, obviously, I feel like as a minority, to me is financial freedom, right? And also to kind of share generational wealth. So like I would love to franchise and, have my strongest team members, team players here, be able to have equity in the company. I do want to see us like, not only in New York, outside New York. And then my main goal too is like my goal is to be able to work with children too. So I want a nonprofit like sponsored by kind of the salon, because if you know nonprofits, you kind of need a lot of sponsors. So I figured like I can kind of be my own sponsor if the salon, makes what it needs to make, and we're able to build these connections. So those are like my two main goals.
Awesome. And by the way, that's how I found you. So I saw the reel of you with the girls coming from like, I think it was middle school, high school.
Yeah.
You were teaching them how to like do custom designs on like, it was really cool. I was like, okay, yeah. And that's building their own business acumen so that they can actually start their own business like you from home.
Yeah. Yeah. So we teach, we have something that I came up with called Press and Mingles. So the schools and nonprofits, they reach out, they usually get a tour here, and they usually have me and another one of my like assistants talk about our journey in the nail industry. And then we customize the press on set and they get to take it home. And it's usually a big success. Like the kids love it. The teachers love it.
What is a design that most people ask for?
It's always going to be the classic French, no matter how many years go by. But I do feel like the art is getting super complex, and a lot of things that are like trendy right now is like one cat eye, which is that's super easy to do, like a plain cat eye. The 3D art, I feel like the Japanese influence here has been really big in New York, at least, and a lot of people like these sculptures and so much texture on the nails. Like that is super trendy and super big right now.
Yeah. And if you had to give advice to someone who wants to start a business from scratch or from home, what would be something you want to share with them?
I have so much. I don't even know where to start, but
you can do two.
Okay, I think my biggest advice would be to like work hard. You gotta work hard. Like there's no way around it, especially if you don't come from like money, and you don't come with a lot of like resources, like backgrounds. You gotta work hard. I think it was Mark Cuban from, what is that show? Shark Tank?
Shark Tank, yeah.
He had said, one of my favorite things he said was like, if you are doing something, you better be doing it 10 times harder than me, because you're going up against me, and I know if I'm doing it, like I'm gonna work hard. I used to work in my house like I think 17 hours a day. Like I used to take like 8 clients a day. I did not sleep. I slept, but like I barely slept.
When?
I barely slept. Like, it was straight wake up, do nails. After doing nails, I would go upstairs, take a shower, edit videos, post, and then I'd go to bed at 4 a.m. and then I'd do it at like 8, 9 o'clock the next day.
Wow.
There's no way around it. I know a lot of times I go to schools and a lot of people ask like, how did I balance life and work? And like, you don't. I think just being a good person, I feel like that's not like talked about enough. And it's not taught enough like in schools and just everyday life. I feel like after COVID, a lot of people just became very selfish. And again, social media has like a weird influence on like the up and coming generation, even like my generation and stuff. I feel like things changed. Be a good person, because again, you never know who's going to be your client. You never know who's going to be your boss, and you never know when you might need a favor, or you just want someone to be understanding. In high school, I feel like I was really cool with just everybody. Like, I was part of, I was not just part of one clique. Like I was really just generally nice. Like my parents raised me like if I ever catch you bullying anyone, like that's it, you're done for, you know? So when I posted about my business in my house, you know, when I first started doing nails, a lot of people from high school that I talked to briefly, they became my clients. And I was so surprised. Like even now, like, you know, they reach out, they support me, they post me on Instagram. And I'm like, wow, I haven't talked to this person in 10 years, but they remember like maybe the time I sat with them at lunch because they didn't have anyone to sit with, or like I talked to them when they needed something, you know? And it's just, it's a good feeling. So be nice and be kind.
How can you explain your client to owner relationship?
Client to owner relationship. I would say I don't get to like, you know, see everyone anymore because it's not like when I was in my house. But I do try to connect with everyone, whether it's via, you know, social media or, you know, just saying hi. Like sometimes I have to like take a breath before I come in here because I'm stressed and, you know, having to pay rent and all these things. But like all that has to kind of shut off because you want to come in and you want to at least say hi. You want to at least like greet people and just set the kind of tone. So I know sometimes people say I have an RBF, but sometimes it's a little bit of social anxiety. Yeah. So you just want to always be friendly and, you know, send little updates. Like I love like, you know, when my girls are accomplishing something or we got maybe some new equipment and I send an email blast out to all our customers, and just being able to share that kind of community, because when opening Got You Polished, that was my main thing. It's like, I want to bring back the salon community. Like that is something we are lacking. I want people to want to spend like hours in here. I want people to, you know, feel comfortable and feel like it's a vibe where like, you know, we can talk and, you know, gossip or whatever, give each other advice. So I would say a lot of people, that's what a lot of people would say about Got You Polished.
Nice. And you mentioned equipment. What are 3 tools or equipment that you that have made your life easier these days?
Definitely an airbrush. Because you know, some people try to use like blooming gel and all this stuff. I feel like you can do so much with an airbrush.
What's a blooming gel?
Blooming gel is like a polish that it's a clear polish and it kind of creates like the snake print and stuff like that. Okay. People try to do like an aura and ombre with that, but it doesn't have the same effect. I know there's a lot of controversy because you should be wearing a mask while doing airbrush and stuff, but airbrush definitely 100%. I would say a good cost-effective gel polish brands. I don't feel like you need the most expensive gel polishes. You just need something that's good and that makes sense for your pockets. That'll help save you a lot of time and a lot of money. Find a good brand and that's it. Stick with it. You don't want a million different things, in my opinion, especially when you're in a salon and you need to train so many different people. Yeah. And the third thing, good lighting. Honestly, good lighting. Good lighting really does help. Yeah. When our lights go out, we're like,
not waiting for the lights go out.
Yeah, like no, like not the Con Ed lights, but like our desk lights breaking something. We're like, oh, damn, now we're gonna be behind. No, even though that Con Ed bill is crazy, but not those lights. Those lights are always paid, but like our little desk lights and stuff, or like even our content lights. Like when we don't charge our content lights and we just have our desk lights to take photos, the photos don't come out as good. So it's like. Always have good lighting, always have the lighting charged, always have it plugged in, and make sure you take care of it and you invest in a good one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how can people connect with you, follow you?
So we're pretty much everywhere. We're on TikTok. I think we have Threads, we have TikTok. We're on our social media constantly, so you can always reach out on Instagram, TikTok, or email. If you send an email to info@GotYouPolished, that usually comes to me, so I'll be able to respond. And then I do have we have 3 phones, so you know you could always text a salon phone if you're trying to book an appointment. And then if you're trying to book classes and stuff, that's usually when I give people my personal work phone.
Okay. Is there like a super busy day that most people book so like people could avoid that day?
We're super blessed and we're pretty booked every day. We're booked a lot, especially during the summer. But we are closed on Tuesdays. Okay, so if you message us on Tuesday and you're calling us on Tuesday, we're not going to get back until Wednesday. Or sometimes people message super late on Monday and the salon phone is in the salon or something and then we can't get to it. But we do have clients that text us at 12 a.m., 1 a.m. And if I have the phone, I'm answering. So just text us.
Sleeping.
Yeah, I should be sleeping, but I'm not. So just text us or email us.
Okay. And before we close out, if you could go anywhere, this is random, if you can go anywhere in vacation, because you just talked about before spending 17 hours a week before, and then I'm sure you're not sleeping here either. If you could go anywhere to relax, where would that be and why?
Anywhere to just relax. Just relax and not party. I would definitely probably go to Puerto Rico. Super chill. I was there, I think this past September. I got to see Bad Bunny, and I just love the island, and obviously like my family's from over there, so something about it just gives like nostalgic and just peaceful, and there's not too much nightlife on the island, so you don't get tempted, and you can kind of just relax. So I love it over there.
Thank you so much, Mariah, for being with me. This has been a great interview, and I learned so much about you and your business.
Thank you for having me, and I'm super excited to see.
Yeah, I gotta seize the moment. Yeah, I gotta stand the test.